Captain Vextar stood on the bridge of the Stellar Harmony, watching the stars through the main screen. His 4 arms moved across the control panels with practiced ease. The ship had been patrolling this sector for 3 months now, and nothing interesting had happened. Just empty space, distant planets, and the usual cosmic dust. "Captain," called Science Officer Krillinox from her station. Her insect-like head turned toward him, compound eyes reflecting the blue light of her screens. "I'm picking up something strange on the long-range sensors." Vextar's tail swished behind him as he walked over to her station. "Define strange, officer." Krillinox's 6 fingers danced over her controls. "There's a vessel out there, about 4 light minutes away. But it's not in any of our databases. No registration, no known design patterns, nothing." "Pirates?" Vextar asked. "Pirates were always a problem in the outer sectors." "I don't think so, sir. Look at this." She pointed to her screen. "The energy signature is completely unknown. It's not using any propulsion system we've seen before." Vextar studied the readings. In his 20 years of service with the Galactic Federation, he had seen ships from hundreds of different species. Each one had its own style, its own way of moving through space. But this was different. "Get me a visual," he ordered. The main screen changed to show a magnified view of the unknown vessel. It was sleek and dark, with smooth curves that seemed to bend light around them. The ship looked like it was made from some kind of metal that absorbed most of the light that hit it. "I've never seen anything like it," whispered Communications Officer Yemdai. Her telepathic abilities usually helped her understand new species, but she looked confused and worried. "How big is it?" Vextar asked. "About the same size as us, sir," Krillinox replied. "Maybe a little smaller. But Captain, there's something else. Watch this." She ran the sensor data again. The unknown ship appeared on the screen, stayed there for a few seconds, then completely vanished. Not just from sight, but from all sensors. Heat, gravity, electromagnetic signals, everything just stopped. "Cloaking device," Vextar suggested. "No, sir, this is different. With cloaking, we usually still get some kind of reading. Gravity, distortion, energy spillover. Something. This ship just ... stops existing." Vextar felt a chill run down his spine. "Where did it go?" "That's the problem, sir. It just appeared again, but now it's 3 light minutes away, in a completely different direction. It moved faster than light, without using any jump drive we can detect." The bridge fell silent, except for the soft hum of the ship's systems. Vextar had dealt with many strange things in his career, but nothing like this. "Sir," Yemdai said quietly, "I'm not picking up any thoughts from the ship. Usually, I can sense something from any vessel with a crew, but this one, it's like there's nothing there, or something we can't read," Krillinox added. "Some species have natural telepathic shielding." Vextar made a decision. "Open a channel. Use all standard Federation frequencies." Yemdai's hands moved over her controls. "Channel open, sir. Unknown. Vessel. This is Captain Vextar, of the Federation ship Stellar Harmony. You are in Federation space without proper registration. Please identify yourself and state your purpose." They waited. No response. "Try again," Vextar ordered. "Unknown vessel. This is the Stellar Harmony. We are a Federation patrol ship. Please respond." Still nothing. "Sir," Krillinox said, "the ship is moving again. It's scanning us." "Scanning us? How? I'm not sure. The energy patterns are completely unknown, but something is definitely examining our ship." Vextar felt his heart beating faster. "Can you tell what they're looking for?" "No, sir. The scan is very thorough, though. They're looking at our weapons, our shields, our life support systems, everything." "Red alert," Vextar commanded. The bridge lights changed to red, and an alarm sounded throughout the ship. "All stations, battle ready." "Sir," Yemdai said, "I'm getting something. Not thoughts exactly, but feelings. Curiosity. They're studying us like we're some kind of interesting puzzle. The unknown ship appeared on their screens again, this time much closer. It was only half a light minute away now. How did it get so close so fast? Vextar demanded. I don't know, sir. Our sensors didn't track any movement. It just appeared there. Vextar stared at the mysterious vessel. It hung in space like a dark ghost, completely silent and still. But he could feel that they were being watched. Sir, Krillinox said, I'm detecting some kind of energy buildup in the unknown ship. Weapons? Vextar asked, his hand moving to the weapons controls. I can't tell. The energy patterns are unlike anything in our databases. Sir, Yemdai said urgently, I'm getting strong feelings of surprise from the ship. I think they're as confused about us as we are about them. The unknown vessel suddenly moved again, but this time Vextar could see it happen. The ship seemed to fade, like it was becoming transparent. Then it was gone. A second later, it appeared behind them. Impossible, Krillinox whispered. It passed right through that asteroid field. Nothing can do that. Unless, Vextar said slowly, it's not quite in our reality. The implications of that thought scared him. A ship that could phase in and out of normal space, that could appear and disappear at will, that used technology completely unknown to the Federation. This was either a first contact situation or a threat unlike anything they had ever faced. Sir, Yemdai said, I recommend we report this to Federation Command immediately. Vextar nodded, but he kept watching the mysterious ship. Do it. But first, we follow it. I want to know what this thing is and where it came from. Sir, regulations say we should maintain distance from unknown vessels until backup arrives. Regulations were written before we met ships that can vanish into thin air, Vextar replied. Set course to follow at maximum safe distance. And keep all sensors on full scan. I want to know everything about this ship. As the stellar harmony began to follow the mysterious vessel, Vextar couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to discover something that would change everything they thought they knew about the galaxy. Lieutenant Jake Harrison watched the tactical display with growing concern. The alien ship had been following them for the past hour, and it was getting closer. Captain, he said, turning to face the woman in the command chair. The Federation patrol ship is still on our tail. They're not giving up. Captain Lisa Rodriguez studied the screen showing the pursuing vessel. She had short black hair and calm brown eyes that missed nothing. How close are they? About 200,000 kilometers, and closing. They're trying to match our course changes. Any communications from them? Several attempts, ma'am. Standard Federation first contact protocols. They want us to identify ourselves and explain why we're in their space. Lisa sighed. This was exactly what she had hoped to avoid. The mission was supposed to be simple. Test the new phase drive technology in deep space, far from any inhabited systems. But somehow, they had ended up in a patrol zone. Dr. Mitchell, she called to the man working at the science station. How's our phase drive holding up? Dr. Sam Mitchell looked up from his instruments. He was a thin man with gray hair and thick glasses. The drive is working perfectly, Captain, but we're pushing it harder than we planned. All these rapid phase shifts are putting stress on the quantum field generators. Can it handle more? For now, yes. But if we keep this up, we might cause some kind of dimensional instability. Lisa nodded. Jake, what's our current position? We're approaching the Kepler asteroid field, ma'am. Lots of big rocks ahead. Lisa made a decision. Take us into the field. Maybe we can lose them in there. Ma'am, Jake said carefully, regulations say we should avoid revealing our full capabilities to unknown species. I know what regulations say, Lieutenant, but we can't lead them back to our base, and we can't let them capture us either. She looked at the tactical display again. Take us in, but keep the phase drive ready. If things get bad, we'll phase out. The ship moved into the asteroid field, weaving between huge floating rocks. The pursuit ship followed, but Lisa could see it was having trouble keeping up. The alien vessel was larger and less maneuverable than the human ship. "They're falling behind," Jake reported. "Good. Maybe they'll give up and go home." But the alien ship didn't give up. Instead, it started firing some kind of energy beam at the asteroids ahead of them. "What are they doing?" Lisa asked. "Looks like they're trying to clear a path," Jake said. "Smart. They can't match our maneuvers, so they're making their own route." Dr. Mitchell looked worried. "Captain, I'm detecting some unusual energy readings from their ship. I think they're scanning us with some kind of quantum field detector." "Can they detect our phase drive?" "I don't think so, but they know we're using something they don't understand." Lisa watched the alien ship blow up another asteroid. "Jake, can we phase through these rocks?" "Theoretically, yes. But we've never tried it with objects this large. The phase field might not be stable enough." "Dr. Mitchell, it's risky, Captain. If the phase field collapses while we're inside solid matter." He didn't need to finish. Everyone knew what would happen. "Captain," Jake said urgently, "they're gaining on us again, and I'm detecting more ships on long-range sensors, I think." They called for backup. Lisa felt her heart racing. 3 more Federation ships were heading their way. If they got surrounded, there would be no way out. "All right," she said. "We're going to phase through the largest asteroid we can find." "Dr. Mitchell, give me everything you've got on the phase drive." "Yes, ma'am. But Captain, if something goes wrong, I know the risks." Jake, find us a nice big rock." Jake's hands moved over his controls. "There's a massive asteroid about 50 kilometers ahead. It's almost the size of a small moon." "Perfect. Take us straight toward it." The human ship accelerated toward the huge asteroid. Behind them, the alien ship followed, probably thinking the humans were going to try to hide behind the rock. "Phase drive ready," Dr. Mitchell announced. "Engaging phase drive." "Now," Lisa ordered. The ship began to fade, becoming translucent. The stars outside became dim and strange, as if they were seeing them through thick water. They were now existing, partially in normal space and partially in another dimension. Entering the asteroid, Jake reported. His voice sounded distant and hollow. Lisa watched the main screen as they passed into solid rock. It was like moving through a thick gray fog. The asteroid's minerals created strange patterns of light and shadow around them. "Phase field is holding," Dr. Mitchell said. "But there's a lot of interference from the asteroid's magnetic field." "How long until we're through?" "About 2 minutes at current speed." Behind them, the alien ship had stopped at the asteroid's surface. Lisa could see it on the rear display, scanning the rock with various instruments. "They're confused," Jake said. "They saw us go in, but they can't figure out how." "Let's hope they don't figure it out," Lisa replied. But as they moved through the asteroid's core, something went wrong. The phase drive began to fluctuate, and the ship started to shake. "What's happening?" Lisa demanded. "The asteroid has a high concentration of rare metals," Dr. Mitchell said frantically. "It's interfering with the phase field. The quantum resonance is becoming unstable. Can you compensate?" "I'm trying, but the interference is too strong. Captain, if we don't get out of this rock soon, the phase drive could collapse completely." The ship shook harder. Alarms began to sound throughout the vessel. "Time to exit?" Lisa asked. 90 seconds, Jake replied. "The phase field is collapsing," Dr. Mitchell warned. "We need to make a choice. Either drop out of phase now and hope we're in a hollow space, or risk complete system failure." Lisa looked at the swirling gray fog around them. They were in the middle of solid rock, millions of tons of it. If they became solid now, they would be crushed instantly. "Hold course," she ordered. "We're going through." The ship continued to shake as they fought their way through the asteroid. The phase drive was making sounds it had never made before, high-pitched whines and deep groans. 30 seconds to exit, Jake announced. Phase field at 15%, Dr. Mitchell warned. Lisa gripped her chair as the ship bucked and rolled. Come on, she whispered. 10 seconds, ... 5, ... 4, ... 3, ... 2, ... 1. They burst out of the asteroid and immediately dropped out of phase. The ship was solid again, back in normal space. Behind them, the huge asteroid looked perfectly normal, as if nothing had happened. Status report, Lisa ordered. We're clear of the asteroid, Jake said. But Captain, look at this. The main screen showed the alien ship. It was still sitting next to the asteroid, but something was wrong with it. It was flickering, fading in and out like a bad hologram. What's happening to them? Lisa asked. Dr. Mitchell studied his instruments. The phase drive collapse created some kind of dimensional rift. It's affecting their ship too. They're partially phased, but they don't have the technology to control it. Are they in danger? Yes, ma'am. If that effect continues, their ship could be torn apart by dimensional forces. Lisa stared at the flickering alien vessel. These beings had been chasing them, trying to capture them, but they were also living creatures, and they were in trouble. Dr. Mitchell, she said quietly, can we help them? Maybe. If we can create a controlled phase field around their ship, we might be able to stabilize them. Do it, Captain, Jake said. Are you sure about this? They were trying to capture us. They were doing their job, Lieutenant, just like we're doing ours. Lisa looked at the alien ship again. Besides, if we save them, maybe they'll be willing to talk instead of fight. Dr. Mitchell worked frantically at his controls, extending phase field, ... now. A bubble of energy surrounded the alien ship. Slowly, the flickering stopped, and the vessel became solid again. It worked, Dr. Mitchell said. They're stable. Lisa nodded. Jake, open a channel to their ship. Channel. Open, ma'am. Alien vessel. This is Captain Lisa Rodriguez of the Earth ship Phantom Dawn. We've stabilized your dimensional displacement. Are you all right? For a moment, there was silence. Then a voice came through the speakers, speaking in accented but clear English. Human vessel, this is Captain Vexstar of the Stellar Harmony. You saved us. Thank you. Lisa smiled. You're welcome, Captain. I think it's time we talked. Captain Vexstar stared at the communication screen, looking at the human face for the first time. Captain Rodriguez had dark hair and kind eyes, but there was something in her expression that spoke of strength and determination. I must admit, Vexstar said, I did not expect to be saved by the ship we were chasing. Lisa Rodriguez smiled. Sometimes the best way to make friends is to help when help is needed. Indeed. But I must ask, what are you? Your ship appeared in our databases as completely unknown. We have records of most spacefaring species in this sector. We're humans, from a planet called Earth. And you're right, we're not in your databases yet. We're still pretty new to this whole space travel thing. Vexstar's 4 arms moved in a gesture of confusion. But your technology, the way your ship can phase through solid matter, that's far beyond what most species develop in their first few centuries of space flight. Humans are good at solving problems, Lisa said simply. We had to be. Our home planet taught us that. Before Vexstar could respond, his science officer called out urgently. Captain, we have a problem. The dimensional rift isn't completely closed. It's creating some kind of temporal field around both our ships. What does that mean? Vexstar asked. Time is moving differently for us than for the rest of the universe. If we don't fix this soon, we could be trapped here forever. Lisa's face appeared on the screen again. Captain Vexstar, our sensors are showing the same thing. We need to work together to close this rift. Work together. Vexstar was surprised. Most species he had encountered were suspicious of sharing technology, unless you have a better idea. Our engineer thinks he can create a solution, but he'll need to understand your ship's systems too. Vexstar made a decision. Very well. Can your people come aboard our ship? Actually, would it be easier if some of your people came to our ship? We have the equipment that caused this problem, so we might be able to fix it faster. An hour later, Vextar found himself walking through the corridors of the human vessel. The ship was smaller than his, but it was clean and well organized. What struck him most was how adaptable everything seemed. Controls could be adjusted for different sized hands. Furniture could be moved and changed, and the lighting could be modified for different types of vision. Your ship is very flexible, he observed to Captain Rodriguez. Humans come in different sizes and shapes, she explained. We learned long ago that it's better to make things that can change than to make things that only work for one type of person. They entered the engineering section, where a tall human with graying hair was working on a large machine. This was engineer Tony Walsh, and he was surrounded by parts and tools that seemed to be from both human and alien technology. Captain, Tony said, looking up from his work, I think I know what happened. When our phase drive collapsed, it created a tear in the fabric of space-time. The energy from both our ships is keeping it open. Can you close it? Lisa asked. Maybe, but I need to understand how their ship's power system works. Our technologies are very different. Science Officer Krillinox, who had come aboard with Vexter, stepped forward. I can help with that. But I must say, your approach to engineering is very unusual. How so? Tony asked. You seem to be using parts from your ship and parts from ours, combined in ways that shouldn't work. Tony grinned. That's the human way. We take what we have and make it work, usually by combining things that weren't meant to go together. For the next several hours, Tony and Krillinox worked together. Vextar watched in amazement as the human engineer took apart complex alien technology and combined it with human components. He didn't follow the instruction manuals or standard procedures. Instead, he seemed to understand how things worked on a basic level and then found new ways to use them. This is impossible, Krillinox said at one point. You're using our quantum field generator as a temporal stabilizer. That's not what it's designed for. But it works, doesn't it? Tony replied, checking his readings. Yes, but how did you know it would work? I didn't, but I figured it was worth trying. Sometimes the best solutions come from trying things that seem impossible. Dr. Sam Mitchell, the human scientist, joined them with more equipment. I've been studying the temporal field, he said. It's fascinating. The rift is creating a bubble where time moves slower for us than for the outside universe. Is that bad? Vextar asked. It could be. If we stay here too long, years might pass in the outside universe while only hours pass for us. Amy Carter, the human medic, came in carrying a medical kit. Is everyone feeling all right? Sometimes temporal fields can affect biological systems. I'm fine, Krillinox said. Though I must say, I'm impressed by your team's cooperation. Most species would be arguing about who was responsible for the problem. Arguing doesn't fix anything, Lisa said. We have a problem, and we need to solve it. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. Rick Adams, a young human ensign, was helping Tony with the repairs. This is so cool, he said to Krillinox. I've never seen alien technology before. How does this quantum field generator work? Krillinox explained the principles, and Rick asked intelligent questions that impressed the alien scientist. You learn very quickly, she observed. Humans are curious, Rick replied. We like to understand how things work. That's obvious, Vexter said. Your entire approach to this problem is different from what I expected. Most species would follow established procedures and wait for help from their governments. Help might not come in time, Tony said, still working on the combined human-alien device. And besides, we're right here. We caused the problem, so we should fix it. But you're using untested combinations of technology, Krillinox pointed out. What if something goes wrong? Then we'll fix that too, Tony said simply. After 8 hours of work, They had built a device that looked like it belonged in a museum of impossible inventions. It combined human phase drive technology with alien quantum field generators, powered by energy from both ships, and controlled by a computer system that used both human and alien programming languages. "This should work," Tony announced. "But there's one problem." "What's that?" Lisa asked. "To close the rift, we need to shut down both ships' power systems at exactly the same time. That means we'll be floating in space with no life support until the rift closes." "How long?" Vexstar asked. "Maybe 10 minutes. Maybe an hour. I'm not sure. And if it doesn't work," Tony shrugged, "then we'll try something else." Vexstar looked at his alien crew members, and then at the humans. "You're willing to risk your lives on a device that might not work. Do we have a choice?" Lisa asked. "If we don't try, we'll be trapped here forever." "But this is so risky." "Captain," Amy said gently, "sometimes the biggest risk is not taking any risk at all." Vexstar realized he was seeing something he had never encountered before. These humans didn't just solve problems. They were willing to take enormous risks to solve them. And they did it with a confidence that was both inspiring and terrifying. "Very well," he said. "What do we need to do?" The next hour was spent preparing both ships. The device was installed between the two vessels, connected by cables and energy beams. Both crews worked together, with humans and aliens helping each other with tasks that would have been impossible for either species alone. "All right," Tony announced over the communication system. "Both ships need to shut down power in 10 seconds. 9:8:7. Vexstar watched as his ship's lights went out. In the darkness, he could see the strange device glowing between the two ships. 6:5:4:3.2.1. Now, both ships went completely dark. For a moment, there was nothing but silence and the glow of the device. Then space around them began to shimmer and twist. "It's working," someone whispered. The rift in space began to close, reality bending back to its normal shape. The temporal field collapsed, and suddenly they could see stars again, normal stars. Not the strange, distorted ones they had been seeing for hours. "Power coming back online," Tony reported, as the lights returned. "Temporal field is gone," Dr. Mitchell announced. "We're back in normal spacetime." Vexstar looked at the humans around him. They had solved an impossible problem using methods that defied every rule of proper engineering. And they had done it by working together, sharing their knowledge freely, and taking risks that most species would never consider. "Thank you," he said to Lisa. "You saved both our ships." "We saved each other," she replied. "That's what intelligent beings do." As Vexstar prepared to return to his ship, he realized that everything he thought he knew about first contact had just changed. These humans were unlike any species he had ever encountered. They were dangerous, but not because they were violent. They were dangerous because they were unpredictable, creative, and willing to try things that seemed impossible. And somehow, that made them the most interesting species he had ever met. Admiral Kate Sullivan stood in the observation deck of the hidden human base, watching the stars through the reinforced window. The base was built inside an asteroid, completely hidden from alien sensors. It had been humanity's secret for over 30 years. Admiral Colonel Ben Murphy said, entering the room with a datapad in his hand. "We just received Captain Rodriguez's report. The test mission encountered a Federation patrol." Kate turned from the window. She was a tall woman with gray hair and sharp blue eyes that had seen too much. "What's the situation?" "The Phantom Dawn was detected during phase drive testing. A Zephyrian patrol ship followed them, and there was an incident. Both ships were trapped in a temporal field." "Were they captured?" "No, ma'am. The human crew worked with the aliens to solve the problem. Captain Rodriguez reports that first contact was successful and peaceful." Kate nodded. This was both good news and bad news. Good because it meant humanity's first official contact with the Galactic Federation had gone well. Bad because it meant their secret was out. What about the aliens? What do they know? They know we exist. They know we have advanced technology. And they know we're not in their databases. Captain Rodriguez told them we're new to space travel. That's technically true, Kate said. We've only been traveling beyond our solar system for 40 years. Dr. Rachel Stone, the base's chief xenobiologist, entered the room. She was a small woman with curly red hair and intelligent green eyes. Admiral, I've been studying the alien crew records from the encounter. The Zephyrians are part of the Galactic Federation's patrol service. They're explorers and peacekeepers. What's their likely response to discovering us? Based on their psychology profiles, they'll report this to their superiors. The Federation will want to make official contact. Kate walked to her desk and activated a holographic display. It showed a map of the local galactic region, with hundreds of colored dots representing different species and their territories. How long have we been watching them? She asked. 32 years since we first detected their radio signals, Ben replied. 28 years since we established this base. 15 years since we started sending stealth probes to study their worlds. And they never knew we were here. No, ma'am. As far as they're concerned, Earth is just another planet with primitive life. They don't know we've been studying them all this time. Kate studied the map. Each dot represented years of careful observation and analysis. Humanity had learned about galactic politics, trade routes, military capabilities, and cultural differences. They had prepared for this moment. Show me the Federation power structure, she ordered. The holographic display changed to show a complex organizational chart. At the top were the older, more established species, the Zephyrians, the Mantids, the Crystalline Collective. Below them were hundreds of newer species, arranged in a careful hierarchy. The Federation isn't exactly a democracy, Rachel explained. It's more like a collection of species working together, but the older members have more influence. New species start at the bottom and work their way up over centuries. What would be humanity's position if we joined today? Dead last, Ben said bluntly. We'd be the newest members, with no voting rights and no say in galactic policy. We'd be expected to follow Federation laws and provide resources, but we wouldn't have any real power. Kate nodded. This was exactly why humanity had spent decades preparing instead of announcing themselves immediately. What about our technology? How do we compare? That's the interesting part, Rachel said. In some areas, we're behind. We don't have artificial gravity or energy shields like most Federation species, but in other areas, we're far ahead. The phase drive, that's just the beginning. Our computer systems are more advanced than anything in the Federation. Our manufacturing techniques are more efficient. Our medical technology is superior in many ways, and our military strategy. Ben paused. What about our military strategy? Admiral, most Federation species have been at peace for centuries. They've forgotten how to fight real wars. Humanity has been fighting each other for thousands of years. Our understanding of tactics, strategy, and logistics is far beyond theirs. Kate looked at the galactic map again. So we have advantages. They don't expect. Yes, ma'am, but there's something else. The Federation is having problems. The display changed to show economic and political data. Several member species are unhappy with the current system, Rachel continued. The Outer Rim colonies feel like they're being exploited by the core worlds. There are trade disputes, resource conflicts, and political tensions. They need new ideas, Kate realized. Exactly. And that's where we come in. Humanity doesn't think like the other species. We don't accept that this is how things have always been done, is a good reason to keep doing something. Ben activated another display. We've identified several Federation policies that could be improved with human input. Their trade system is inefficient. Their exploration program is too cautious. Their conflict resolution methods are too slow. You're suggesting we don't just join the Federation, Kate said. You're suggesting we change it. That's exactly what I'm suggesting. But not immediately. We need to be careful. Kate walked back to the window. Outside, she could see human ships moving between the hidden docks. The fleet was small, but advanced, built with technologies that combined human innovation with secretly observed alien principles. What's the status of the other bases? She asked. All operational, Ben replied. We have hidden outposts in 7 different systems, monitoring Federation activity. Our stealth network is completely undetected, and our colonies, thriving. We have permanent human settlements on 12 worlds, all outside Federation space. Total population is approaching 2 million. Kate was proud of what humanity had accomplished. While the Federation thought Earth was just a primitive world, humans had quietly spread across dozens of star systems. They had built a small but sophisticated interstellar civilization. Admiral, Rachel said, there's something else we need to consider. The Federation Council will want to send a delegation to Earth. When soon, the Zephyrian captain will file his report, and the Federation will want to investigate. They'll probably send a first contact team within a few months. Kate smiled. Good. We're ready for them, ma'am. Colonel Murphy, prepare a message for Earth. Tell them it's time to implement the first contact protocol. Dr. Stone, I want profiles on every species likely to be on the Federation delegation, and get me a secure channel to President Brooks. Yes, ma'am. As her staff left to carry out their orders, Kate remained by the window. Somewhere out there, Federation officials were probably having heated discussions about the mysterious human ship. They would analyze the encounter, debate the implications, and eventually decide to make contact. But they would be making contact with a humanity that had been preparing for this moment for over 30 years. They would find not a primitive species, stumbling into galactic politics, but a civilization that had been quietly studying them, learning from them, and preparing to change everything. The phase drive that had started this whole encounter was just the beginning. Humanity had dozens of other technologies that would revolutionize galactic civilization. They had new ideas about government, economics, and social organization. Most importantly, they had something most Federation species had lost: the willingness to take risks and try new approaches. Computer, Kate said to the room's AI system, open a channel to all human outposts. Channel open, Admiral. This is Admiral Sullivan to all stations. Phase 1 of the first contact protocol is now complete. Prepare for Phase 2. The Federation is coming to Earth, but they don't know what they're going to find. She paused, looking out at the stars that would soon be filled with human and alien ships working together. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity can do. Far away, in the Federation capital, Counselor Zethmak was reading a report that would change everything. The report described a species with impossible technology, a willingness to take enormous risks, and an approach to problem-solving that defied all conventional wisdom. A new species, he said to his aide, and they're not like anything we've seen before. Should we be concerned, Counselor? Zethmak looked at the report again. The humans had saved a Federation ship using untested technology and methods that violated every safety protocol. They had solved a problem that should have been impossible to solve. Yes, he said finally. We should be very concerned, but not because they're dangerous, because they're going to change everything. The age of human isolation was ending. The age of human influence in galactic affairs was about to begin. President Helen Brooks stood in the Oval Office, looking at the report spread across her desk. The Federation delegation would arrive in 3 days, and everything had to be perfect. Madam President, General Paul Davis said, entering the room with a confident stride. The Solar System Defense Network is ready. All orbital stations are operational, and our fleet is in position. Helen nodded. The general was a big man with gray hair and steady hands. He had been planning for this moment for 15 years. What will the Federation see when they arrive? They'll see a moderate defense network around Earth, enough to show we can protect ourselves. But not so much that they feel threatened. They won't detect our hidden bases or our advanced ships, and if they try to scan our technology, we have decoy systems ready. They'll see what we want them to see. Ambassador Maria Santos entered the room, carrying a thick folder. She was an elegant woman with black hair and kind eyes, who spoke 12 languages fluently. Madam President, I've finished reviewing the Federation diplomatic protocols. I'm ready for the formal first contact. What's your assessment of their likely approach? They'll try to be friendly, but cautious. They'll offer us basic membership in the Federation, which means we follow their rules and have no real power. They'll expect us to be grateful for the opportunity. Helen smiled. They're in for a surprise. Dr. Alex Reed, the head of Humanity's secret research program, joined them. He was a thin man with bright eyes and hands that were always moving. Madam President, all of our demonstration technologies are ready. The quantum communicator, the advanced manufacturing systems, the medical scanners, everything that will show them what we can really do. Are we ready to reveal the phase drive? Captain Rodriguez's ship will be part of the demonstration. When they see what we can do, they'll realize we're not just another primitive species. Helen walked to the window and looked out at the city. In 3 days, everything would change. Humanity would officially join the galactic community, but not as junior partners. They would enter as equals, with technology and ideas that could benefit everyone. There's one more thing, she said. Dr. Reed, are you certain about the quantum communicator? Absolutely. It will allow instant communication across the galaxy. No more waiting weeks for messages to travel between star systems. It will revolutionize how the Federation operates, and they have nothing like it. Nothing even close. They still use traditional faster-than-light communication, which takes time. Our system is instantaneous. Helen made her decision. Then we'll offer it to them, but not as a gift, as the foundation of a new partnership. 3 days later, the Federation delegation arrived in Earth's solar system. There were 12 ships representing 8 different species, led by the diplomatic vessel Galactic Unity. Captain Vec, now serving as military liaison to the delegation, watched the sensor readings with amazement. The humans have been busy, he said to his science officer. Indeed, Krillanox replied. I count at least 50 orbital stations, a dozen space-based manufacturing facilities, and, Captain, look at this. The main screen showed the asteroid belt, where hundreds of human mining operations were extracting resources. Ships moved between the asteroids with practiced efficiency. They've industrialized their entire solar system, Vexstar observed. This is not what we expected from a species that just developed space travel. Ambassador Trovacki, the delegation's leader, was a tall, elegant being with silver skin and multiple arms. Captain, what is your assessment of their military capabilities? Moderate Vexstar replied carefully. They have weapons and shields, but nothing that seems threatening. Their technology appears to be about average for a new spacefaring species. What he didn't say was that the humans' true capabilities were probably much greater than what they were showing. After his encounter with the Phantom Dawn, he had learned not to underestimate human technology. Very well, Trelvik said. Take us to Earth. As the Federation ships approached Earth, they were met by a single human vessel, sleek, elegant, and clearly advanced. It was the diplomatic ship New Horizon, commanded by Captain Rodriguez. Federation delegation. This is Captain Lisa Rodriguez, of the Earth ship New Horizon. President Brooks extends her welcome to humanity's home system. Thank you, Captain Rodriguez, Trelvik replied. We are honored to make official first contact with your species. Please follow us to Earth. We have prepared a demonstration of human technology and culture. The Federation ships followed the New Horizon toward Earth, passing through the orbital defense network. The aliens noted the defensive platforms and scanning stations, but they seemed standard for a developing species. What they didn't notice were the hidden observation posts that were scanning their ships and analyzing their technology. What they didn't see were the stealth ships that shadowed them, ready to respond if anything went wrong. Earth appeared on their screens, a blue and white world that looked peaceful and beautiful. The Federation delegates had seen many worlds, but Earth had a unique quality that made it seem alive and vibrant. "Beautiful world," Trelvik observed. "We think so," Lisa replied. "We've worked hard to keep it that way." The delegation was taken to a space station orbiting Earth, an impressive facility that demonstrated human engineering and design. The station was built in a style that was uniquely human, with curved corridors and open spaces that made it feel more like a home than a military installation. President Brooks met them in the main conference room, accompanied by her staff. The room was designed to be comfortable for multiple species, with adjustable lighting and furniture that could accommodate different body types. "Welcome to Earth," Helen said, standing to greet the delegation. "We're honored to meet you." "The honor is ours," Trelvik replied. "We come in peace, hoping to welcome humanity into the galactic community." "We appreciate that," Helen said. "But before we discuss membership, we'd like to show you some of the things humanity has to offer." The next few hours were a carefully planned demonstration. The Federation delegates were shown human manufacturing facilities that could produce complex goods in minutes instead of hours. They saw medical technology that could heal injuries that Federation doctors considered untreatable. They witnessed agricultural systems that could feed billions of people using a fraction of the resources that other species required. But the real surprise came when Dr. Reed demonstrated the quantum communicator. "This device," he explained, "allows instant communication across any distance. No delay, no signal degradation, no matter how far apart the communicators are." The Federation delegates stared at the device in amazement. "Instant communication?" Trelvik asked. "Across galactic distances." "Across any distance," Dr. Reed confirmed. "We could communicate with the Andromeda Galaxy instantly if we wanted to. But that's impossible," one of the alien scientists protested. "The laws of physics don't allow it." "The laws of physics don't forbid it," Dr. Reed replied with a smile. "They just require a different approach than most species have tried." Ambassador Santos stepped forward. "We'd like to offer this technology to the Federation, along with our other innovations." "Offer it?" Trelvik asked. "As part of a new kind of partnership," Helen explained. "We're not interested in traditional Federation membership. We want to propose something different." She activated a holographic display showing a new model of galactic organization. "Instead of a hierarchy with older species at the top, we propose a network of equals. Each species contributes what they do best, and everyone benefits. That's very different from how things have always been done," Trelvik said carefully. "Which is exactly why it might work better," Helen replied. "The Federation has problems. Trade disputes, resource conflicts, communication delays. We have solutions, but we want to implement them as partners, not as junior members following orders." The room fell silent as the Federation delegates considered this proposal. It was unlike anything they had ever heard from a new species god. Captain Vextar stepped forward. "If I may, Ambassador Trelvik, I can speak to humanity's capabilities. I've seen what they can do when faced with impossible problems." "Go ahead, Captain." "They don't just adapt to circumstances," Vextar explained. "They change the circumstances to fit their needs. They take risks that other species wouldn't consider, and they succeed because they're willing to try things that seem impossible." "You're suggesting we should take their proposals seriously?" "I'm suggesting that humanity is unlike any species we've encountered. They could revolutionize how the galaxy operates." Trelvik looked at the human delegation. What exactly are you proposing? Helen smiled. We're proposing that instead of humanity joining the Federation evolves into something new, a true partnership, where ideas matter more than age, where innovation is valued over tradition. And if we refuse, then we'll continue to develop on our own. We're not asking for permission to exist. We're offering to help make things better. For everyone. The Federation delegates spent the next day in heated discussions. Some were intrigued by humanity's proposals. Others were concerned about disrupting the established order. All were impressed by human technology and capabilities. Finally, Trelvik called for a meeting with President Brooks. We've made a decision, he said. The Federation Council will need to vote on your proposal, but we're recommending that they accept it. What changed your minds? Several things. Your technology is remarkable, but more importantly, your approach to problems is unique. The Federation has been facing increasing challenges, and our traditional methods aren't working as well as they once did. Helen nodded. Change is never easy, but it's necessary for growth. There will be resistance, Trelvik warned. Some species will not want to see the old system changed. We understand, but we're patient. We've been preparing for this moment for 30 years. We can wait a little longer. As the Federation delegation prepared to leave Earth, Captain Vec had one last conversation with Captain Rodriguez. You knew this would happen, he said. When we first met, you were already planning for this moment. Lisa smiled. Humans are good at planning ahead, but we're also good at adapting when plans change. What happens now? Now we wait and see. The Federation will debate our proposal, and eventually they'll decide. But either way, humanity is part of the galactic community now, and if they reject your proposal, then we'll keep working on our own and keep offering to help. Eventually they'll realize that cooperation works better than competition. As the Federation ships departed Earth, they carried with them quantum communicators that would allow instant communication with Earth. For the first time in galactic history, a new species had offered to help improve the existing order, rather than simply joining it. The age of human influence in galactic affairs had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same. On Earth, President Brooks stood in the Oval Office, watching the alien ships disappear into the distance. Think they'll accept our proposal? General Davis asked. Eventually, Helen replied, they have to. We're offering them something they need. New ideas, new technologies, new ways of thinking. The old system isn't working anymore, and if they don't, Helen smiled, then we'll keep doing what humans do best, finding new ways to solve old problems. One way or another, we're going to make things better. Outside, the stars waited, and among them, humanity was ready to help build a better future for all species.